I have worked with fabric most of my life. Not in boutiques with polished mirrors and champagne appointments. Just a quiet room at the back of my house with a wide table, an old iron, and the steady hum of a sewing machine that has followed me through most of my adult years. 6 months before my daughter's wedding, I started the dress. I never announced it like a surprise. I mentioned it once during a phone call. "I thought I might make something for you," I said. She was distracted that evening, scrolling through venues and catering options. "That's sweet, Mom," she said. "But I'm already looking at designers." I didn't argue. I simply kept sewing. The dress became my evening routine. After dinner, after the house grew quiet, I would sit under the small lamp above my work table and measure, cut, and stitch. I chose a simple silhouette because my daughter always liked clean lines. Nothing overly decorative. The lace at the sleeves came from an old box I had kept since my own wedding, lace my mother had sewn onto my dress 40 years earlier. It felt right to pass it forward. Some nights the work moved quickly, other nights I would undo entire seams just to make sure the fabric fell exactly the way it should. Wedding dresses aren't just garments. They hold photographs that will exist longer than the people in them. While I worked, I imagined the moment she would see it. Maybe she would run her hand over the lace and ask where it came from. Maybe she would laugh and say she couldn't believe I made something like this. I didn't expect tears or speeches, just recognition. In the months leading up to the wedding, she became busier and busier. Meetings with planners, venue walkthroughs, tastings. Our conversations became shorter. I assumed that was normal. 3 weeks before the ceremony, the dress was finished. It hung in my sewing room overnight while I looked at it from different angles, checking seams and smoothing the skirt. In the morning I wrapped it carefully in tissue and placed it inside a garment bag. Her apartment was across town. When she opened the door, her phone was wedged between her shoulder and ear. "Yeah, I'll call the florist back," she was saying. "Just text me the contract." She waved me inside. The apartment looked like a temporary wedding office. Papers, fabric swatches, and catalogs spread across the dining table. "I brought something," I said. She finally ended the call and noticed the garment bag. "Oh," she said. I unzipped it slowly and lifted the dress out. For a moment she didn't speak. She looked at the sleeves first, then the bodice, then the skirt. I waited. Then she sighed. "Mum. Just that one word. I thought you said you were looking at designers," I said gently. "I am," she replied quickly. "And I already found one." She pinched the fabric between her fingers, not harshly but without care. "This just looks cheap." The word landed strangely in the room. "Just donate it, Mom," she said, already glancing back toward the papers on the table. "I'm not wearing that cheap crap." Her voice wasn't cruel, just impatient. Like someone dismissing the wrong brand of coffee. I didn't argue. I didn't remind her how many evenings had gone into the stitching. I didn't point out the lace from her grandmother's dress. I simply folded the skirt over my arm and placed the dress back into the garment bag. She had already picked up her phone again. "I have a fitting tomorrow anyway," she said casually. I nodded. "All right." That was the last word we spoke before I left. Outside, the afternoon air felt oddly quiet. When I reached home, I placed the dress back in my sewing room. I didn't hang it this time. I folded it neatly on the table. A few hours passed. Then my phone rang. My daughter's name appeared on the screen. I let it ring, then again, and again. The calls came every few minutes. Eventually a message arrived. "Mom, please pick up." Another call followed. Then another message. "The boutique just called. There's a shipping problem with the dress." I imagined the conversation she must have had with the bridal shop manager. Delays. Logistics. Apologies that sounded official and immovable. The phone rang again. I sat at the sewing table and looked at the folded fabric. 6 months of quiet evenings rested inside that dress. Another message appeared. Mom, I really need to talk to you." The calls kept coming. At some point I picked up the phone, but I didn't answer the call. I opened the message screen instead. It took me a while to decide what to write. Not because I was angry. Because I wasn't. Anger passes quickly. What I felt was something slower. Finally, I typed a single message. The dress isn't cheap. I paused. Then continued. It's made from 6 months of evenings I spent thinking about the day you'd wear it. Another pause. Right now I think it deserves to stay where it is. I sent the message and placed the phone face down on the table. A few minutes later it vibrated again. And again. The dress remained folded in front of me, quiet and patient in the soft light of the sewing lamp. For the first time since finishing it, I wasn't imagining how it would look walking down a wedding aisle. I was just looking at the work itself. The stitching, the lace, the care. The phone continued ringing somewhere behind me. But the dress stayed exactly where I had left it.